The way this system works is it disincentivises people to hire young people into the trades. Someone who'll have an opinion on that, I'm sure, is Senator Pauline Hanson, who's on the line. Seems that, afternoon, great to talk to you again.
Seems that thank you.
We do not really, there's no encouragement for young people to go and get that sort of work. That's just madness what David was telling us about hairdressing.
It is. I didn't hear the whole conversation, Steve, but that's why the government, after years and years of pushing my apprenticeship scheme, that the government pays 75% of the first year's wage, 50% of the second and 25% of the third year's wage. They put out 1,630 jobs in January. That was taken up in 3 weeks, and they put out another scheme, just started on the 1st of July. Now, businesses said to me, under that scheme, they'd take on 1 or 2 apprentices. My opinion was, and I've employed apprentices in the past under my plumbing business with my ex-husband, that the cost of employing apprentices, and of course the first year make absolutely nothing out of them. They're actually a cost to you. So, wages, and businesses are doing it tough these days. They don't know if they're going to have an income, whether they're going to get jobs or not. So instead of having these kids out there, should not be pushed on to further education, because a lot of them are not academically minded.
David just told us it's going to cost him an extra $1.50 an hour to hire an apprentice than to hire someone who's a fully qualified hairdresser.
It is ridiculous where it's going. That's why my scheme, I said, businesses will put them on under this, and I was right. And the government, I had to take them basically screaming tooth and nail to take up this scheme, and they did it, and they've put out another one. They've let apprentices slide in this country because they kept bringing in skilled labour from overseas because they wanted the high immigration numbers at the detriment of our kids getting jobs. Hence, we haven't got the apprentices or the tradespeople in this country that we should have.
I wanted to talk to you about the Medevac legislation, and I couldn't believe it. The evidence given by Michael Pasulo, head of the department, yesterday, and you predicted this when you said that this legislation shouldn't go through. Of the 111 refugees, asylum seekers transferred under medical transfer to Australia from Nauru and Manus, only 4 ever went anywhere near a hospital. Currently, none of them are even outpatients.
That's correct. And they basically do it to get into the country. So a lot of the ones that have been brought over here, they inflict self-harm on themselves. Now, we were told in briefings by departmental heads and Border Protection and the ones involved in all this that they actually self-harm themselves or even swallow stones and to actually cause the problems for themselves so that they actually get evacuated. Once they're in the country, then people here start the process of actually getting them their visas to stay here in the country permanently. Then they bring out their families. So only 4. And what happens then is these people are put up in hotels at the expense of the taxpayers at thousands upon thousands of dollars. The government lied to us. They said prior to the election, we'll be tough on this. They haven't been tough on it. They spent over $1 billion on Christmas Island. They should have actually been sent to Christmas Island, but it's an absolute farce of what is actually happening. And the government, as far as I'm concerned, I think they're weak about it. The bill was passed, but it's been lagging there. They should be actually pushing it forward to actually get it through the Senate. I
saw the pictures of you and my old mate Martin King on Ayers Rock. Do you he looked more uncomfortable than you did.
He was uncomfortable, actually. We were both uncomfortable. It was windy, it was freezing cold, and it's quite terrifying, actually, when you know that if you slip on that rock and you start rolling, you've nothing to stop you from actually going over the edge. And there's been 35 deaths in the period of time since the rock was opened in 1971. It was walked on that prior to that, but it's been open for people, I think, more than 50 years. But I didn't go out.
It's no walk in the park, is it?
The rock. It's not. It's not. And of course, my shoes were shocking because I'd done a lot of miles and walking and running.
You need to buy yourself some new boots.
I will have to, won't I? But, Steve, look, I was invited out to the Rock by Uluru major people, the council, and they've got many other issues out there. The safety of the Rock, but it's also about their local community are not getting the jobs. and they bring in people from outside, Aboriginals from outside, and they're getting paid more money to actually put them on to work there. So this has been going on. They warned them 2 years ago. No one's listened to them.
Well, that's the point you and I made. That's the point you and I made on the Today Show about a month ago, and we both copped it for saying, well, hang on a minute, if it's a tourist attraction and it employs local people, that's a good thing.
It apparently doesn't. There's about 150 in the community there, and they actually want work, but they're not given the jobs. And I actually took Jimpana straight to the minister when she came to my office. I said, look, I've got a meeting with the minister in 15 minutes. I said, you're coming with me. Well, the look on his face when I walked in with her, but she got to talk to him. I said, have you ever spoken to him before? She said, no, I haven't. It's all on deaf ears. So they contacted me because they heard my comments on that Today program and what I said. And then the council got together, and the council are higher than the board, and they invited me out to hear their concerns. And I'm only the messenger. I'm only putting across what they've been saying because no one will listen to them.
It turned into a, Channel 9's paying Pauline Hanson to go and climb on the rock, which is ridiculous. Just before you go, while we've been on air today, Brisbane City Council, they tried to go to court to stop another one of those lunatic marches in the middle of Brisbane by the Green extremists about Adani, and the courts ruled in favour of the Greens councillor being able to actually march.
I can't believe that. That is absolutely ridiculous. I believe that, I think that our courts became, people who are heading it have such a different view in life than I think the majority of people. Exactly right. Surely they have seen the mayhem that it causes on our streets, that people trying to get to work, and protests. Okay, if people want to have protests, do it in some place. I wish the media would not give them any airtime, because that's why they keep doing it, because they get the airtime by the media. If the media shut down, didn't give them any airtime, didn't report it, well, then I think they'd go away. But I'm disgusted with the court system by allowing them and not overruling this with the protests. But my opinion about this is tough hand needs to be taken with these people.
I agree with you. Senator, thanks. Talk soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Senator
Bye.
Pauline Hanson.